They will never tell you this, but the greatest power you will ever possess is not found in the thunder of your voice, but in the stillness of your soul. It is not wielded with a sword, but with a silence so profound, so absolute, that it becomes an impenetrable fortress around your mind. If you feel a resonance with these words, a deep knowing that you are different, that you are here for more than just the noise of the world, then you have found your tribe. Like this message to signal your awakening, subscribe to continue your journey, and comment, "I am not alone," to connect with the silent warriors among us. Have you ever felt it? The undeniable truth that your real strength, your divine power, doesn't begin in the muscles of your body, but in the unseen sanctuary of your mind. It germinates in a place no one else can see, a sacred inner landscape that is yours and yours alone. Yet, its vibration, its frequency, is something everyone around you can feel. It is an aura, a presence, an energy that speaks volumes without ever uttering a single word. The most feared, the most respected, the most influential figures throughout history were not the loudest. They were not the ones who chased the spotlight or begged for the crowd's approval, number. They were the silent masters of their own inner universe. They did not seek attention, for they understood that true power is an internal state of being, not an external validation. They did not crave the approval of others because they were sovereign in their own kingdom. They meticulously built minds so composed, so divinely detached, so utterly impenetrable, that the chaotic energy of lesser minds simply collapsed in their presence. Imagine standing before such a force. Their calm is a mirror, reflecting back the world's own frantic desperation. Their stillness is an anchor in a raging sea, and others, tossed about by the waves of their own emotions, find themselves inexplicably drawn to that stability, yet simultaneously terrified by it. Imagine for a moment a mind that feels no pressure from the outside world, a mind that shows no desperation, no neediness, no gaping void that it begs others to fill. A mind that fears absolutely nothing because it has made peace with everything. This is not the mind of a cold, unfeeling machine. It is the mind of an awakened soul. It is a mind that does not flinch under attack, because it knows that no external force can touch its divine core. It doesn't chase validation, because its worth is inherent and absolute, bestowed by the source of all things. It doesn't require revenge, because it operates on a higher frequency, one that understands that the universe itself will balance all equations. This kind of mind does not merely survive the world. It bends the world to its will, not through force, but through a sublime alignment with universal laws. It becomes a conduit for a power so immense that the world has no choice but to recalibrate itself around it. This is not about intellect or cleverness. This is about spiritual discipline. It's about forging your thoughts into instruments of such precision, making your presence so unpredictable, and cultivating a spirit so free from emotional turbulence that the world's attempts at manipulation fall away like water off a stone. People can no longer manipulate you. They cannot intimidate you. They cannot control you. And this, my friend, is what makes you truly dangerous to the established order. They will try to understand you, to categorize you, to put you in a box so they can feel safe again. But they never will, because you are no longer playing by their rules. And now, together, let us build that mind. Let's forge that untouchable spirit. The average mind, the mind of the sleeping masses, is shackled to outcomes. It is a prisoner of its own desires. It desperately clings to the illusion of external validation, to the approval of peers, the accumulation of success, the reflection in a lover's eyes, the curation of a flawless image. Its entire operating system is based on desire, and therefore, it inevitably collapses under the weight of disappointment. It rises on the fleeting highs of praise and shatters with the slightest touch of criticism. This kind of mind cannot be feared. It can only be pitied. It is fragile, a house of cards built on the unstable ground of other people's opinions. It is utterly breakable. And because it is so breakable, it is tragically easy to control. Now, ask yourself a question, and answer it from the depths of your being. What happens when you no longer care? Not from a place of apathy, of giving up, but from a place of supreme power. What happens when you detach your sense of self from the chaotic dance of gain and loss? Understand this profound truth. Detachment is not indifference. It is the ultimate form of control. Indifference is a void, an emptiness. Detachment is a fullness, a state of sovereign presence. It means that your internal world, your sacred inner peace, remains absolutely unchanged, regardless of the storms raging in the external world. No gain can truly excite you, because you are already whole. No loss can truly destroy you, because you know that nothing real can ever be threatened. You begin to want nothing from others, and in that wanting of nothing, you become free. When you want nothing from them, not their praise, not their love, not their attention, then nothing they do and nothing they withhold can ever move you from your center. That, and that alone, is the indestructible core of the untouchable mind. This doesn't mean you become a person who feels nothing. On the contrary, you feel everything more deeply, but you are no longer a slave to those feelings. It means your emotions become your sacred guides, not your ruthless masters. They no longer rule you, you rule them. You have consciously, deliberately burned away the need for approval in the purifying fire of self-knowledge. You have starved the ego's desperate desire for attention until it has withered and died. You have unchained your mind from the outcomes that everyone else worships as gods, success, fame, wealth, acceptance. You have unplugged from their matrix of values. And that act, that solitary act of spiritual rebellion, makes you terrifying to the system. Why? Because most people are prisoners. They are prisoners of their own unending cravings. They crave love, so they can be baited with affection. They crave validation, so they can be controlled with praise. They crave success, so they can be manipulated by the promise of more. Their entire existence is a frantic dance, pulled by the strings of every promise and shattered by the blow of every rejection. But the one who has trained their mind to operate without this craving, the one who has found wholeness within, becomes impossible to bait. And when you cannot be baited, you cannot be controlled. This is the secret that sends shivers down the spines of kings and manipulators alike. They hate the detached soul. They despise the one who walks in serene self-possession. They cannot purchase your loyalty with compliments, because you do not need their approval. They cannot threaten you with exile, because you are already at home within yourself. You don't belong to any outcome, any group, any ideology. And so, you belong to no one. You are free. Machiavelli would have called this the supreme advantage, the ability to appear involved in the grand theater of life, yet to remain internally unmoved. To play the game with masterful skill, but to be willing and able to walk away from the board at any moment without a single shred of emotional cost. That is the fundamental difference between a player on the board and the one who sees the entire game from above. But listen closely. Your detachment must not be announced. It must not be a new identity you wear like a badge. It must be felt. It must radiate from you as a palpable frequency. People should sense it in the calm, measured tone of your voice. They should feel it in the unhurried pace of your movements. They will see it in your profound lack of desperation. When others rush in a panic, you remain still. When others compete with frantic jealousy, you observe with serene clarity. You do not reach. You do not chase. You allow things to come to you, or you allow them to pass by. It makes no difference to your inner peace. And that calm, that sacred stillness, will make them deeply nervous. Why? Because your tranquility is a mirror that reveals how utterly frantic they are. Your stillness reflects their own inner chaos and desperation back at them. Your self-control mercilessly exposes their emotional turmoil, and in this exposure, they lose power. Let them panic. Let them project their insecurities onto you. Let them beg to be seen, to be liked, to be accepted, to be validated. You are not moved. You are not triggered. Because you have already accepted the one liberating truth that grants ultimate freedom, you do not need anything from anyone. Once you truly embrace this, your very presence changes. The energetic signature you emit transforms the space around you. You are no longer the one desperately trying to impress or fit in. You are the one who chooses. You are the one who decides who stays or leaves, all on your own terms. In a world overflowing with emotionally needy minds, your self-containment makes you a rarity. And in this world, rarity equals power. But do not confuse this divine detachment with distance. This is not about hiding in the shadows or building walls to avoid connection. It is the exact opposite. It is about engaging with the world, but with divine precision. It's about being fully present in every interaction, but not possessed by it. It is about loving, but not needing. It is about acting, but not attaching your identity to the outcome of your actions. You no longer react based on the volatile storm of feeling. You respond based on the calm clarity of strategy. You no longer demand fairness from a world that is inherently imbalanced. You simply understand and leverage advantage. You don't beg for clarity from others. You operate from the deep well of your own inner silence. This is the chasm that separates the average from the untouchable. Most people live as emotional addicts, perpetually seeking their next fix. They require constant feedback, constant reassurance, constant stimulation to feel alive. They chase pleasure and flee discomfort with the desperate energy of a starving animal. But an untouchable mind is forged in the very fires of discomfort. It does not flinch under pressure. It welcomes the silence that terrifies others. It remains steady and centered, even as the world burns around it. When they try to insult you, you feel nothing but a quiet observation of their pain. When they withdraw from you, you do not follow, for your path is your own. When they threaten you with loss, you have no reaction, because you have already let everything go. This is terrifying to them. Because the moment they realize that nothing owns you, that no hook can find purchase in your soul, they understand that you are not like them. You have slain the slave within your own mind. And now, you walk free. The untouchable mind isn't built through books or theories. It is forged through repetition, through the crucible of experience. It's built through the countless moments of pain where you refuse to break. It's strengthened by the insults you allow to pass through you like a ghost. It is cultivated in the deep silence where you confront and conquer your fears. This is how you rise. By needing less, you begin controlling more. You watch as the world grows obsessed with a soul they simply cannot figure out. Remember, the moment people can define you, they can defeat you. Most men and women destroy their own power by desperately trying to be understood. They overshare, they explain, they justify. They want to be seen as honest, clear, and open, and in doing so, they voluntarily hand over every psychological weapon they possess. The untouchable mind does the opposite. It operates in the shadows. Not because it is hiding, but because it understands a fundamental law of power. Mystery is more potent than truth. Once they think they know you, they stop fearing you. Once they can predict your next move, they begin to control it. Predictability is a weakness. Exposure is a surrender. And so, you must remain unclear. Let them guess your intentions. Let them question your silence. Let them interpret your stillness as either patience or danger. It matters not what they think, because you know the truth of your own power, and you know that their frantic guessing will haunt them. People are terrified of the blanks they cannot fill. Machiavelli understood that appearances are often more important than the underlying truth. But you must take this wisdom a step further. You must become the illusion itself. Be everything and nothing all at once. Speak with just enough clarity to be heard, but never enough to be fully defined. Act with precision, but never offer a full explanation. Never ever let your inner world be readable. This is the sacred discipline of mystery. Most people cannot handle it. They crave recognition. They desperately want to be labeled, praised, and understood. They yearn for their thoughts to be validated and their pain to be seen. You must kill that need within yourself. You must become completely immune to being misunderstood. Because in the higher game of power and spirit, being misunderstood is a profound advantage. It means no one can pin you down. And if they cannot pin you down, they cannot use you, guilt you, or stop you. You become a shifting, ethereal figure in their mind. One moment you are distant, the next you are insightful. One moment you are warm, the next you are brutally cold. They don't know if you are a threat or a mirror, and so they become obsessed with decoding you. Let them try. Mystery isn't built through silence alone, it is built through precision. Say less, but when you do speak, say things that echo in their minds for days. Do less, but make your actions sharp, decisive, and unforgettable. Be present, but never be fully available. Give them pieces of yourself, but never, ever the full picture. And above all, never explain your reasoning. Let them feel the effect of your actions. Let the consequence speak for itself. You must train your mind to resist the primal urge to clarify. If they don't understand you, good. If they misinterpret you, let them. If they invent stories about you to comfort themselves, let them tell those stories. The more they guess, the more they think of you. The more they think of you, the more they reveal about themselves. That is the real power of mystery. It forces them into a state of emotional exposure, while you remain unreadable, impenetrable. They become transparent, while you remain a void. This is how true masters move. They do not scream, they do not justify. They speak once, and others spend years interpreting it. You must embody this principle. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be relatable. You are here to build a mind that others fear to step into. A mind that never fully reveals its logic, its wounds, or its desires. People will try to break your mystery. They will accuse you of being cold, distant, inhuman. Let them. Their discomfort is a sign that your presence is working. They fear what they cannot see, and when they fear it, they respect it. A mysterious person doesn't chase. They draw others in. They control what others are given access to. They watch reactions, collect data, and keep their cards hidden until the outcome is certain. Then, they act cleanly, suddenly, precisely. Your mystery is not just a tool, it is your shield. It protects your emotional life, your strategic mind, and your sacred intentions. The less they know, the more they project. And the more they project, the more power you hold over them, without ever needing to speak a word. Become the silence that unsettles. Become the gaze that cuts through illusions. Become the question that lingers longer than any answer ever could. This is the untouchable mind, not loud, not visible, but deeply, profoundly feared, because it is never fully known. Weak people feed off emotion. They thrive on drama, on reaction, on validation. They need to feel you to know they still have power over your mood, your attention, your peace. This is the first and most important rule of psychological warfare. The one who can make you feel owns you. An untouchable mind knows this, and it starves them. You do not give them what they want. Not your outrage, not your confusion, not even your disappointment. You give them absence, you give them nothing. Because the greatest punishment is not revenge, it is emotional starvation. Most people think control means domination through aggression. But true Machiavellian control is quieter, more surgical. You don't control by shouting, you control by becoming a void. A void where people lose themselves trying to find meaning in you. They expect you to react, you don't. They expect you to chase, you vanish. They expect you to care, you show nothing. And that nothingness, that void, haunts them. Understand this deeply. When you are emotionally predictable, you are easy to manipulate. If they know what words provoke you, if they know what gestures make you jealous, if they know what silence makes you desperate, they own you. Your mind becomes a puppet show, and you don't even see the strings. That is why you must remove your emotions from public display. It does not mean you stop feeling. It means no one ever gets to see what you feel. Not your enemies, not your lovers, not even your friends. Because the more someone knows about what moves you, the more power they have over you. So, you do the opposite. You train your mind to remain emotionally invisible. You speak less. You reveal less. You give no reactions. And when people try to reach into your emotions through guilt, praise, seduction, or pity, you let it all pass through you like wind through stone. Do not explain yourself. Do not defend your emotions. Do not give them the illusion that they have reached your core. Most people, when emotionally attacked, respond like children. They beg to be understood. They seek closure. They want to make things fair. You don't. Because the untouchable mind doesn't operate on fairness. It operates on control. When someone wrongs you, your strength isn't in crying for justice. It is in removing your energy from them completely. Vanishing. Not with tears, but with silence. Not with threats, but with total emotional disengagement. That silence will scream louder than any insult ever could. People are not used to being denied, especially emotionally. They are used to a reaction. So when you offer nothing, when you don't flinch, don't chase, don't plead, they feel powerless. That helplessness turns to obsession. They try harder. They spiral. They break themselves trying to break you. This is emotional warfare. But to win it, you must stop living like an open book. Close it, lock it, burn the pages, rebuild your mind as a sealed vault. No access, no entry, no negotiation. Every emotion you give away freely is a weakness sold at a discount. Keep them guessing. One day, speak with warmth. The next, with cold detachment. One day, disappear completely. The next, return without explanation. Create uncertainty. Create unpredictability. It disorients them. It keeps them unstable. And that instability puts you in control. Machiavelli would advise to be feared more than loved, but also to be unreadable more than feared, because what they cannot understand, they cannot manipulate. And what they cannot predict, they cannot defend against. This isn't cruelty. This is survival. In a world built to infect your mind with noise, emotion, and dependence, detachment is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Do not be available emotionally, not to everyone. Not to anyone without discipline. Emotional starvation is not a tactic, it is a transformation. You are teaching people how to treat you by showing them that access to your emotions is earned, not assumed. That your silence is not emptiness, but power. That your distance is not weakness, but command. Let them speak, let them shout, let them try to provoke, confuse, seduce, manipulate. And let your answer be the one thing they fear most: nothing. You lose power the moment you react. Every time you flinch, explain, defend, or argue, you lose a piece of your dominance. Because the untouchable mind is not concerned with opinions, noise, or provocation. It doesn't answer to emotion. It doesn't justify itself. It observes. Weak men are predictable. They are triggered by tone, by silence, by rejection, by disrespect. Their emotions live on the surface, always visible, always exposed. That makes them easy to play, easy to use, easy to crush. Machiavelli understood that the man who shows his mind reveals his weaknesses, and the man who reveals his weaknesses signs his own death sentence. If you want to be untouchable, the first law is this: kill the reactive self. Reactivity is slavery. You are chained to every insult, every shift in someone's mood, every social expectation. You live as a mirror to others, never as a force in yourself. This is where most men die mentally. They live with open circuits, constantly responding, constantly leaking energy. That is not power. That is vulnerability. An untouchable mind is not emotionless, but it is immune to emotional control. It still feels, but it never shows. It still notices, but it never obeys. It knows when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. Silence is a weapon. Most people hate silence. It threatens them. When you don't react, they can't read you. When you don't explain, they invent stories, and those stories usually expose their own insecurities more than yours. Use this. Your silence isn't just absence, it's strategy. To build an untouchable mind, begin here. Observe everything. React to nothing. Someone disrespects you? Watch them. Learn their weakness. Don't explode. Plot. Someone ignores you? Good. Let them. An untouchable man understands that emotional detachment is not weakness, it is mastery. While others swing blindly to defend their pride, you remain still, focused, calculating. Your calm makes them nervous. Your lack of response forces them to spiral, and in that spiral, they expose themselves completely. In war, the loud soldier dies first. He makes himself visible, predictable, easy to target. The silent one, he survives, because he moves without being seen and strikes without warning. That is the mind you must build. A mind that never shows its cards, never bleeds in public, never plays the game by their rules. Do not let emotion become your leash. Your anger, your ego, your need to be respected, these are all weapons that can be turned against you. Machiavelli would tell you, if you want to dominate, you must learn to disappear emotionally. Not from life, but from manipulation. No one should be able to trigger you, not with disrespect, not with rejection, not even with love. Until your mind is yours and only yours, you are owned. Practice internal silence. When your instinct is to lash out, speak less. When someone tries to provoke you, look through them, not at them. Let them wonder what you are thinking. That mystery is more powerful than any reaction you could ever give. An untouchable mind creates confusion. It forces others to play defense, to second guess, to reveal themselves first. This is control without effort, power without noise. Eventually, they will realize they cannot reach you, they cannot move you. And once they realize that, they will do what all manipulators do when faced with the unreadable. They retreat. Let them. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be feared, respected, and ultimately left alone unless summoned. That begins by making your mind a fortress, not built of stone but of stillness, not of arrogance but of discipline. No one gets in, nothing leaks out. Burn the reactive self, and from its ashes, rise as something far more dangerous, something untouchable. You've burned your reactivity. You've starved their emotional control. You've mastered detachment. You've become unreadable. Now comes the final transformation. You disappear in plain sight. The most powerful mind doesn't seek power. It becomes power. It does not scream its dominance. It radiates it. It does not participate in noise. It watches it burn. You are no longer playing the game. You are the game. And they don't even know it. This is what terrifies people the most. Not your words, not your presence, but your absence. When you stop reacting, they notice. When you stop responding, they panic. When you vanish and move in silence, they begin to feel your weight more than when you were near. Because now, they are forced to deal with something most people can't handle, a man who no longer needs to be seen to remain in control. You become a phantom. You leave no trace, but your name remains. You leave no emotion, but your effect lingers. You don't raise your hand, but your influence shapes the room. And here is the secret they never tell you. The less they know about how you think, the more they talk about you. The less you show, the more they obsess. The less you need, the more they want to be needed by you. Invisibility is your armor, mystery is your throne, and silence is your kingdom.